Remember this guy? This was the primary subject matter of my very first video almost a year ago, when George, the Shade Tree Fix-It Man, I'll put a link to his channel in the description, inspired me to shoot a video of this and send it to him because he was intrigued by it. I made a comment on one of his videos where he was working on his Goofy cart, and so I did. I sent him a link. I shot a video, sent him a link to it. He really enjoyed it and encouraged me to start this channel. Well, George has started work again on his Goofy cart. And I believe he's got a deadline, self-imposed deadline of towards the end of September. I could be wrong. You have to watch his channel, his latest video, to confirm that. But I think he was planning on early fall having the Goofy cart up and going. Well, I've got to get going on this contraption. It's time, long past time. I've been promising you viewers for months about this thing and keep getting distracted. Well, I'm distracted no longer. So just to recap really quick, my friend Jim here 3 or 4 years ago gave me this chassis from an old Craftsman garden tractor, and he had plans to drop a different engine on it and turn it into a funky machine, for fun. And it's just something he never got around to. And finally, he's been cleaning up for the last couple of years, and he finally said, "Hey, come get this thing, get it out of here." Well, I found this old single-cylinder Yanmar horizontal diesel engine. Been sitting outside for 20-some years. It wasn't stuck. I had some issues. Well, I cleaned it up and everything, and the fuel tank was rusted out, and I fixed that. And then me and my buddy Lance spent a couple of iterations trying to get this thing running. We never got it to fire. We'd get smoke out the stack, and then it would start wet stacking. And so that tells me, okay, I've got probably one or more stuck rings. There was some compression, so it told me the valves were okay. I got the injector unstuck, and that had a really nice spray pattern. So it wasn't a problem with the injector dribbling too much fuel in. It's just the fact that I probably got one or more stuck rings. So we're going to tear into this engine and get the piston out and see if we can't find out what's happening. Pretty sure, although it's a Yanmar engine, Yanmar logo there, I'm pretty sure this came into the U.S. in the gray market tractor system. These engines were primarily used in the Far East, Asia, Southeast Asia, on the walk-behind rice paddy tractors, and I'm sure there was other applications as well. They're a solid engine. I mean, I've seen videos of these guys over in Asia souping these things up and drag racing those rice paddy tractors. And I mean, it's not putt-putt down the track. These things are screaming, and it's hilarious to watch. But anyway, yeah, let's tear into this thing. Oh, and by the way, I've got an update for the sticker toolbox. Arco and Heidi at Outlaw Edge sent me a sticker. Went up to the mailbox a little while ago, and there was an envelope, and I saw what it was from, and I thought, oh boy. Yeah, and I also got this from IH Gear. They sell merch online, all international harvester related. And I bought a flag from them. And now I can't remember what I did with the flag. It's around here somewhere. Anyway, It's hiding there in the package. I'm not going to unfurl it right now because this video is about the contraption, but you'll see it soon. So, yeah, I got 2 new stickers for the sticker toolbox. Okay, I'm going to pull the exhaust off first. Got 3 12mm bolts. So, and of course fan noise in the background. We're 93 today, so I'm cool in the shop. Story time. Oh, let's see. Probably around 1982, early 1983. I was working on the USS Long Beach, which is a nuclear-powered guided missile cruiser, which has now long since been razor blades. She was scrapped years ago. Anyway, the ship is in for overhaul. It's in dry dock. And I'm working in the galley with several other guys. And I was assigned the meat and vegetable prep room. Whoop. And I'm working with a fella we called the Swede. Now the Swede, he topped out about 350 pounds. And his pants, trousers, were always at half-mast in true plumber fashion. Long before it was fashionable for the younger guys that like to wear their pants at half-mast. Well, anyway, I'm working with the Swede, and we're what we commonly referred to in those days were ripping out the compartment, which means basically gutting it. All the equipment had been taken out, and we were going to put all new stainless steel fixtures, tabletops, all that kind of stuff, wall cabinets, we call them lockers, and so on and so forth, and all the sheeting on the bulkheads and the overhead, the ceiling. And so, pardon me, it'll get over here, get the oil bath off while I'm talking. Anyway, so I'm working in there with a Swede, and I'm on a ladder, and I got to pull all the stainless steel quilted panels out of the overhead. And these were all 316 alloy, number 4 finish stainless steel. We called it CRESS, which is an acronym for corrosion resistant engineered steel. Anyway, I'm on the ladder, old Swede, he's kind of leaning on his elbow watching me. And I'm very carefully pulling the rivets out of these panels. And finally, I'm down to the last rivet, and I get a thin straight edge underneath the panel, and I'm wiggling it. And just as I get it loose, I got both hands on it, I'm ready to pull the panel down. The old Swede steps back, and he hollers, "Look out, Stu!" Just as I pulled that panel out, about 1,000 dead cockroaches came raining down on my head. I'm standing there on the ladder, I got my shoulders scrunched up under my hard hat as all these cockroaches come raining down. Yeah, that was fun. And then when all the cockroaches were finally out of the overhead, the old Swede, he says, "Good job, Stu. Grab a broom and clean up the deck." All right, I'm going to this fuel injector out. Looks like everything is 14 millimeter. on this side, right where I'm tapping, that's the injection pump. I don't have to take that off to get the cylinder head off. It's mounted on the side of the block. Fuel's been shut off. I don't think we're going to get any. Nope. Yeah, my shipyard days were filled with characters, stories. So, from time to time, if you guys don't mind, I'll share a story like that once in a while. And if you don't like the stories, let me know in the comments. I won't tell them. Well, as I said in the earlier portion of the video, this injector was stuck. And I took it all apart and cleaned it up, hooked it up, and I used the lift pump lever on the side to pump fuel through it. And I actually got, oops, I'm going to pull this off too, a really nice spray pattern out of it. So I am satisfied that the injector pump is okay. You know, actually, now that I think about it, I'll just leave that on. That should be able to come off with the entire head. Let's do that. We'll put the head up on the bench and check valves and stuff like that out and go from there. Now if this, I'll show it in a minute, if this engine turns out, looks like it's not going to be viable, I have a backup. You know, ordinarily you just get new rings, rod bearings and stuff like that, but since this thing is a gray market, parts for it in the US are unobtainium. You're not going to get them. So new rings and bearings are out of the question. But I do have a backup, which I'll show you in a minute. This is an International Harvester 3 to 5 horsepower throttle governed engine. I bought this from my good friend Jim, who I also got that old Craftsman chassis from. His original plan years ago was to mount this engine on that chassis. And so if that little Yanmar diesel turns out to be a dud, this is my backup. Now Jim has got some time and money into this thing. He's had the head off. There's a new gasket on there. That is a brand new magneto, which had to cost him a fortune. And he's got a new water drain valve on it and a few other odds and ends. This is hopper cooled. You fill this up with water. I would use distilled water to keep mineral buildup from happening and so on and so forth. But it's on a skid. There is the cover for the head over there and the sheet metal cover, and then that is the fuel tank. Fuel tank's pretty roached. The top of it is rusted out, so you know the bottom's bad too. No big deal. I'll get another fuel tank, or I'll build a fuel tank. We'll see. My original plan was to use that to power the big Champion Buffalo Forge blower and forge camelback drill press. So I'm hoping the Yanmar will turn out viable, and then I continue with my original plan. We'll see. Okay, we got an oil line right here that I got to take loose. Sorry, I'm doing this one-handed. No, that's not too bad. And then I got a coolant drain here. I got to get a pan for that. Well, it didn't go exactly as planned. Kind of missed. Captured most of it. I had to pull. This is where you fill the coolant, and you got a sight glass here. And it comes. There's a little rubber hose right there. I don't know. Yeah, you can see. You can see the rubber hose right there. It comes down, goes into the head right here. You can see that little brass fitting there. I had to drain it that way because this petcock that was mounted on the bottom of the head was stuck. Can't move that handle at all, and this is why. It's completely plugged. I did take a pick and poke up inside. The port in the head itself isn't blocked with anything. Everything went, sediment went into here and plugged it up. So there may be a little residual coolant left inside the head. And when I pull it off, it'll probably spill some, but that's all right. We'll make it work. You can see we got a modest little radiator up here, return line there, and on the opposite side there's a belt-driven cooling fan. So this thing is set up to cool quite well, and I just hope I can save this engine. I'm going to have to pull this valve cover off. Got the two top head studs right here. The bottom ones are captivated inside the valve cover. So there's only three fasteners, 10 millimeter, that hold them on. Oh yeah. Well, that's not good. Interesting. These rocker arms are simply captivated in place by these bosses inside the valve cover. Interesting. I'll have to see if I can figure out what the valve lash is supposed to be. All right. Now we've got the bolts or the studs exposed all the way around. So as best as I can tell, these look like about 21 millimeter. I don't have that. I've got 18, 19, 20, and 23. So we're going with 7/8. I'm an SAE guy. What can I say? I don't have a lot of metric tools. Just enough to work on my own vehicles. Got a little more coolant coming out, so I'm going to let that drain. Push rods. All right. Let me park this, and I'll give you a close-up. So there's absolutely no sign of a cross hatch, but my primary concern is the lower cooling passage, just like the drain cock, is completely plugged, which means this thing had to have run hot. That concerns me a lot. Come over here and we look at the head. There's some carbon. Let me grab a light. There's fan noise, sorry. There's some carbon built up there. But again, the cooling passages are full of sludge. And the bottom one, again, is completely plugged. So, gotta get the piston out now and look at the rings, which is going to be pulling that rear cover off right there. So I'm going to stop right here, regroup a little bit. I've got a mess to clean up. I'm going to do a little more assessment on that head, a little cleaning on the head maybe. Actually, I won't. I'm not going to clean on the head until I get the piston out, because I don't want to put any more labor in this thing than I have to. You know, if it's going to be all for nothing. So anyway, I think I'm going to end this right here, because this video is getting kind of long, and I'll bring you back when I got more to show you on this engine. So take care, everybody, and we'll see you soon on the next one.